everyone, my name's Rebecca. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be doing the finally fall book tag. I'm pretty excited about this. I haven't really done a lot of tags on this channel yet, and I actually struggled with a couple of these questions, so let's just jump right in. The first question is, in fall the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. For this I chose An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. This is about a girl who is quite a renowned painter, isn't it? Yes. She's called Isabel, and the fairies, I guess, come from the Fey Kingdom to have their portraits done by her. And eventually the prince, Rook, gets word of the fact that Isabel does these paintings and he comes to be painted. So she paints him, sends a picture away, and then he comes back furious because she's painted sorrow into his eyes. And that's a human emotion, so that makes him look weak in the Fey world. So he basically kidnaps her. I thought this book was amazing. I thought it was really evocative. I thought it was vivid. I really loved the setting, I loved the world, and I loved the description of it. And so I thought this was the perfect book to choose for this one. The second challenge is, nature is beautiful but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic such as loss or grief. For this challenge, I chose Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. So all of Akwaeke Emezi's books are beautifully written. If you are looking for an author who consistently writes very well, they are the one for you. So this book follows Jam, whose mother is an artist, and she paints this really intense picture, and out of that picture comes Pet. Now he's just kind of like a mixture of different creatures, and he's scary, and he basically comes to say he has come to hunt a monster. So in this book, monsters are basically criminals. It's people who are like murderers, rapists, abusers. So this is a kid's book, and I think the way it deals with abuse and with these big heavy topics is very, very good. I think it's done in a way that children can understand, and I think this deals with a really heavy topic. In this case, it's mostly abuse, and it deals with it really well, and it's also quite inclusive. Like, there's a polygamous relationship in here, and it's just introduced like nothing, which it should be. Like, it's okay, and so it introduces kids to a lot of different new concepts and situations in a really casual and understandable way for them. Question number 3 is, fall is back to school season. Share a non-fiction book that taught you something new. The book I've chosen for this is Black and British by David Olusoga. David Olusoga is actually a local historian. He lives in Bristol now, but he's from Gateshead, which is very close to where I grew up. This is basically, A Forgotten History. You might have seen the BBC TV programme of the same name that David Olusoga presents, and this is basically a really much bulkier, more detailed version of the TV show. Basically, this deals with British history, focusing on black people in Britain. So it's sort of from all the way from Roman Britain to present day, and it's a lot of history about the empire and about black people in Britain that you just don't get taught in school here. The extent to what I was taught personally in school about black history was, we touched on slavery, the civil rights movement in the US was mentioned, but we weren't really taught anything about it, and that's it. You have to teach the empire in history. It's part of the curriculum, it's mandatory. But the mandatory bit is how good it was and how it opened up trade routes, and it was a lot of money, and the British Empire was this huge, powerful empire, but you don't get taught about all the terrible things like slavery, like the genocides, like trying to kill off native languages and religions and all of, you don't get taught any of that. And even the black history in Britain itself, you don't get taught. So this taught me a lot of new stuff, because nobody ever really talks. Nobody told us there was a black emperor in Rome. Nobody taught us about the Black Britons in medieval periods. Nobody taught us about the civil rights movements in the UK. Nobody ever told us about the Bristol bus boycott. Yeah, it's part of our like history as a country. We just aren't taught it, so this taught me an awful lot, and I highly recommend reading this if you are British. If you're from anywhere else, read it too, but especially if you're British. So the fourth question is, in order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with the people we love. Name a fictional family, household, or friendship group you'd like to be part of. I actually struggled with this one because I read so many depressing books that I was like, in reality, would I actually want to be part of this friendship group? Probably not. So in the end, I settled on the Shardlake family/friendship group from Disillusion by C.J. Sansom. This is a historical crime novel. It is about a lawyer, Matthew Shardlake, and his assistant go to a monastery to try to solve a murder, but also to convince the monks to voluntarily dissolve the monastery. He's been sent there by Cromwell. This is set during the Tudor period when Henry was dissolving the monasteries, hence dissolution. Throughout this series, because I think there's 8 books in this series now, maybe 7, throughout this series Matthew Shardlake picks up all of these friends, and his family is quite small. He doesn't have any kids, but he picks up all these lovely people, and he attracts really nice people who are really intelligent and really kind, and he's very protective of his friends, who to him are more like family. So I think I quite like to be Matthew Shardlake's friend, and I'd also quite like to be Barack's friend and Guy's friend and his 2 housekeepers. I'd like to know them, so I thought, can't do too bad in Tudor London if you know Matthew Shardlake. The 5th question is, the colourful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall coloured spines. For this, I'm going to take you to my bookshelf because I do not want to take these. I've wedged this pile in there, so I don't want to take them off. So I'm going to take you to my bookshelf. So here are my autumn coloured spines. I put all of these together because I really like the colours together anyway. So we have The Library Book by Susan Orlean, which is very good. Vanessa and Her Sister by Priya Palmer, which I haven't actually read yet. But I've been so excited about for a long time actually. What Happened by Hillary Rodham Clinton, and I love this gold with the rest of the books. And I think the white looks really nice as well. Homegoing by Jessie, extremely good book, highly recommend. And then the Bone Season series so far by Samantha Shannon. And I actually have 2 of these because I pre-ordered the limited signed edition to have it match the rest of the colours, and then I won a ticket to go to the book launch for this in Edinburgh and ended up buying another one so she could sign, so I had something from that. But to be honest, I think this whole shelf is pretty autumnal. So I think A Time to Dance goes in, and I think some of these are pretty autumnal colours as well. And also this book cover in itself is really autumnal with the all the leaves coming off the trees. But yeah, that's my stack. 6 is fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Share a book wherein somebody is telling a story. So for this one, I chose Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This is one of my favourite books of all time. If you don't know about Frankenstein, it's strange because it's told, there's letters of basically it starts with Professor Frankenstein being found. He's brought onto a ship. He's basically dying because he's so cold. He's chasing his monster. So he is telling the story of the monster, who at one point tells his own story to Frankenstein. Frankenstein's telling this to a ship's captain, and he is writing letters to a friend or wife or sister, I can't remember, who is back in England. So this is like kind of intense, somebody telling a story. It's like someone telling a story within a story, within somebody else telling a story, within somebody else telling a story. But Frankenstein is excellent. I really like this. I think it's a really good autumn read actually, because it's so creepy, but it's, I think, a really good it's just a really good book. I really like Mary Shelley's writing. For a long time, every time I think about Frankenstein, I'm like, I should really read more Mary Shelley. But yes, absolutely love this book, and I think perfect for this because so many people are telling stories in it. Number 7 is The Nights Are Getting Darker. Share a dark, creepy read. I actually struggled with this as well, because I don't have that many creepy reads, but in the end, I chose The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. I have the movie cover, as you can see, and my rabbit that I had at the time when I bought this nibbled the corner off, which is why it's in kind of shocking condition. But this is a really short book, and it is creepy. It's about ghosts. If you've seen the trailer for The Woman in Black, you'll know. This is kind of different to that. I think this is a bit more creepy and less scary than the film, to be honest, and the ending's very different. It's very upsetting actually. The ending of this is much more depressing. But basically it's about a lawyer who has to attend a funeral of a client, and he stays in her house, and I guess he's supposed to be doing like an inventory of her possessions, and spookiness ensues, I guess. So this is a good creepy read. The 8th question is The Days Are Getting Colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's day. Now for this, I chose a book that I've kind of just read, and that is Fangs by Sarah Anderson. This is kind of a new release. It's about a vampire and a werewolf who are in love and it's lovely. It's really short, and it's comics as well, so it's really short, it's something you can dip in and out of, and they're just so cute. There's some really cute passages in this, and yeah, if you're looking for something really cutesy but also something kind of perfect for autumn, this is the book for you. Question 9 is 4 returns every year. Name an old favourite that you'd like to return to soon. So for this, I chose Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is actually the first time I think I've spoken about this channel's namesake. I love Jane Eyre, obviously. It says on the back, it's a story of a defiant, fiercely intelligent woman who refuses to accept her appointed place in society and instead finds love on her own terms, and I really think that's the perfect way to describe this book. Jane Eyre follows basically Jane's whole life, and I just love all of the places it takes place. I love all of the characters. I absolutely adore Jane, and I just think she's an incredible young woman. She's been through a lot, she's had to deal with a lot even from a really young age, and instead of letting that make her shy and make her lose any self-confidence, instead she takes it in her stride and she becomes this really like fierce, independent, confident young woman, and she decides to take fate in her own hands and do what she wants. So I love Jane Eyre. I actually haven't read this again yet this year. I've read it every year since I first read it, and so I'm gonna have to get to this one soon. Question 10 is, fall is the perfect time for cozy reading. Share your favourite cozy reading accessories. And for this, I think it's probably easier to take you over to the corner of the sofa that I usually read in. So this is the corner that I usually read in. I usually read on my sofa in the living room, and I just prop myself up on these cushions and get my blanket and then my book. So I don't really have any accessories. Apart from, I guess, the blanket maybe. But my favourite thing, I'll actually show you because I can, is this bookmark, which I guess is a reading accessory. I got it as a birthday gift a few years ago from the people that I worked with, and I just absolutely love it. So maybe it's not quite cozy, but it is pretty. And question 11 is, spread the autumn appreciation and tag some people. I'm not going to tag anybody specific, so if you see this and you want to do the tag, feel free, to consider yourself tagged. I just saw it and thought it was a really cute tag, decided to do it without being tagged, so if you want to do it, this is you tagged. And yeah, that's it. So if you like this video, feel free to give it a like, leave a comment and let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, if you pick anything different for those questions, and subscribe if you want to see more of me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!